Yo.
So, you really identify with Batman. He's your favorite. Is there something that you can tell people who don't know you very well about why Batman is so important to you? Like your best friend?
Batman's my best friend. Yeah, I mean, it was, I think, 10 years ago that I was really, really mad after Batman. I think it was that age where you sort of decide who you want to be in your life. And then there's a lot of people that are examples, like, there'll be a lot of guitar heroes, there'll be a lot of painters, artists, whatever, people, just cool people, or things that you discover about life that make it happen for you. And
Batman made it happen for you?
I think Batman, I mean, I was just into Batman comics, but I think one side of him was the fact that he wasn't a superhero, so I think, as in, like, he didn't have powers and shit, so he was like, he built himself from scratch and he just designed this whole creature for himself. And I think that was what influenced, like, funk, the funk side of things, where you sort of have another, like, a lass that just does, like, some crazy things by night, and the day is like, you just, like, yourself. It's just this crazy fictitious thing. Comics are a fictitious thing, but, like, representing a lot of reality. So it was that intertwined world that really, like, interested me.
That's cool, it's true, like finding magic in the mundane. Like Batman is a human, he's a guy.
Yeah.
He's not like an alien or anything.
Yeah, but he does cool things, and I think he's like a guy thing, because I mean he has all the cool gadgets and stuff, and so like when you're like a guitar player or like an electronic musician and you've got the gadgets, so you've got to have the fucking latest shit. That's cool, so it keeps your mind healthy and like that.
So if you were to answer this question, and your answer in no way would mean that people would think you're arrogant or have a big ego. Actually, those two mean the same thing, but anyway, answer this question then. So Batman has superhuman abilities, right? But he's a human guy with no real superpowers. So what are your superhuman abilities? And don't even try and censor yourself, just like flex your muscles and say what.
I don't know, it's just moving people with sound. To sound very cliche, but that's what I do.
Moving them to do what?
Moving them to do whatever. Like you make them laugh, cry, fucking angry, whatever. They live. Like you make people live and you excite people with your sound and they're inspired and shit. So that's my magic.
Good answer, buddy.
So simple. So, do you get this a lot? Like, is Monica Dogra different from Shaa'ir? What's the deal? Like, is Monica Dogra mainstream because she's in the film, and is Shaa'ir like underground indie? Is it like two split personalities? Is it one person? What's the deal?
I do get that a lot, and I say absolutely no difference between the two identities. I often feel like there's a divide in people's minds that underground means small and less popular, and
mainstream.
You know, mainstream means sell out and no values and no artistic voice. And I definitely feel like from Shaa'ir Func's inception, not just me doing film work or whatever, but since Shaa'ir Func's inception, we came into the scene to say that independent music can be popular. And mainstream can have soul and artistic voice. And if you look at the scope of all of my work, all of it has those things. I think anything that I do within the independent scene or underground scene has the capacity to be mainstream if it got leveraged and if it got promoted the way that a lot of mainstream stuff does or film does. And in fact, like, I recently got into an argument with somebody who runs a really big channel in India about a television show called Coffee with Karan. And she was really fucking cool, like an awesome lady, so smart. Sorry I cursed. Okay. so smart and so well traveled and hot and everything. And I was just like, you know, my only thing is, and I actually really like I love watching Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, and I really like talk shows. I like Ellen. I think it's a great way for people to get, you know, insight into personalities that are shaping cultures, you know? But I think that like Ellen or Jimmy Fallon or Karan have responsibilities to bring the right people onto their shows. You know, it doesn't have to be the same 10 people over and over again. And the media almost forgets that they're the ones with the power sometimes. Like that whoever will go on a show like that will then gain followers and fans. So I mean I feel like Robin Hood's important, like just taking energy from one place where there's an abundance of energy, an abundance of eyes, an abundance of viewership, and redirecting them like to areas that need more viewership and more eyes and more energy. And I feel like that's what I do with Shaa'ir and Monica Dogra, and it's never been why I do what I do, you know. It still isn't why. Like, I meet people who are like, oh, but what happened? Like, you did Dobigat and then nothing, and why don't you act in movies and all this stuff? And I'm just like, dude, it was never, I'm not one of those girls who wants everyone to cast me in their films and wants to be the next big thing. I'm not, I am my own thing. And if people enjoy it, great. And if they don't, great. But my work will always be my work, and it'll always be what I do. And I'm sure that attention will come in ebbs and flows, but it'll never be why I do anything. So, a lot of people don't know this about you, but you were a painter.
Yeah.
And a lot of your friends are like the most celebrated contemporary artists in India. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them are like, Randolph, why did you stop painting? So can you take whoever's watching back to that Randolph and who that Randolph was and how he ended up well, you didn't give up on it, but how you ended up transitioning into music and why you chose music when you were, like, literally Krishnamacharya Bose, Jagdish Kalat, like all the most famous painters are like his besties.
Yeah, man, we just basically, we were just talking about a lot of music at that point.
With them?
A lot of art, yeah, a lot of how painters and artists would like really change cities, countries, and like make really bold statements and like affect culture. And that was something that people in Bombay, like maybe a few people like back in the 70s understood. Like there was Newton Souza, Francis Newton Souza, there was Ahmed Hussain, Akbar Badamsi, Raza. The old gang, like they did something. They were like the Claptons and like the like Jimmy Page.
But these are painters that you're talking about.
Yeah, but for me they were like those guys like who thought
Eric
that
Clapton?
back then, as in like they had a vision. Like I think Eric Clapton, the Rolling Stones, David Bowie.
Yeah, but these are musicians
who changed the scene as artists, like back. So in UK the energy was being, it was like heightened, I think, with art and music. Mm. And here music for me was like my first love. I could feel it by being like, yeah, I'm sure like all of those artists have these same sensibilities, you know? Like there's a desire to sort of really be the change that you want to see around you, and like people started making that happen. People started writing, making magazines, people started making their own tour plans, people started like making their own stages, people started building this stuff from scratch and like supporting that whole movement. Yeah, and that's all we spoke about. So I think that was really good.
At JJ.
At JJ, yeah, that was good upbringing. And then we only found and heard like the best music, or made it what we thought was the best music, music that was moving forward, like crazy music, experimental music. Music for
but
just...
you weren't making music with these guys.
I wasn't.
You were in school.
I wasn't, I was painting, I was in college, I didn't know what to do, but I wanted to be in a band. Like there was a desire to be in a band. I did, yeah. I wanted to play guitar, and in JJ I met Sidhu, and then he started playing guitar. Siddharth's from Colorblind, and he played with Modus Operandi, with Naresh Lindsay, JD. And Ram Sampal, yeah, he did Colorblind with Ram Sampal. Sidhu would like, he encouraged me like to do guitar, and he actually, Sidhu gave my number to Clyde.
Sidhu, who I might add, this is so weird, but Sidhu, who is cousins with Karsh, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or are they friends from childhood friends?
Childhood friends, I think.
Childhood friends. So,
but listen,
Karsh
this is one point, hang on.
Yeah.
Sidhu gave Clyde my number, he gave Floyd my number, who gave to Clyde, who called me up to audition for Pentagram.
So Clyde's the one who called you?
Yeah, but it was through Sidhu, like when... Yeah, so what is it? What's the... What keeps you in shape, like for SNF? What drives you to sort of make that kind of music and be that kind of person that is Shaa'ir? In 10 words.
Because you know I can't do it.
Yeah, that's the challenge.
I really can't answer that in 10 words. There's no way. I don't even speak sentences that only have 10 words. So are you going to let me answer it how I want to answer it?
Sure.
Okay. Like for me, Shaa'ir Func is a part of absolutely everything that I do. Like we wrote our first record together, and the stories that came out of me were 23 years of stories.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second record was really hard because it was like how do I already said that and I already talked about that, and what new life could I possibly talk about in record 2? But we were touring and we were poor and we were in cities we had never been in together, and you know, kind of literally paving the road. So then that struggle became Light Tribe. So Light Tribe was really about like, you know, what that felt like to not know how we were going to eat. Like we lived on Dal Chawal for like 3 months, you know, writing that album, and
Poetry was in New York.
and New York was good too, but I was bartending, which is something I really didn't. I remember serving beer to like fat white men and being in Rolling Stone and GQ, and our music was doing so well in India, and there I was like just whatever, it's ridiculous. But then every show that we played, like main stage at Knitting Factory, and everybody would come and just like love and buy our albums, and it was just a period of, I always talk about growing pains, like when your body grows too much and you have all these stretch marks. It was like that, but emotional stretch marks, like growing way faster than I could keep up with. And then record 3. So even movies are a way for me to step into other worlds and think of new personalities and new people and struggles that other people go through. And I end up writing a lot from these fake people that I'm pretending to be. Even that's part of, and then just fitness, because our show, I don't know if anybody knows this, but we've played shows where literally I've like fainted or I've walked off stage and like...
You like to dance so much.
Yeah, but I'm not even thinking about it, I'm just doing what instinctually I want to do. It's like a dancer without training can't move the way she wants to move, right? So, and like I want to be able to do so many things. So I've thrown up and gone back on stage and kept singing. So now we both physically train, which is cool, but I train a lot physically just to keep up with our tour schedule. I don't drink before gigs or smoke. So a lot of things are just like in my lifestyle intertwined with wanting to make sure that Shaa'ir Func is exactly as much and as big and as powerful as it possibly can be. And we never stop. That's the thing. That's the thing that we've always been. We just never stop. Always like writing more, even when we could just like ride on the backs of what we've already done. We're always just like, no, can't repeat what we've already repeated. We have to try something new. We have to do something new. And a lot of that is you, for me, are the only person who I want to kill and slap.
You guys are creepy.
But I love, and I keep loving. I don't know anybody who I've experienced that with. And I think most people have that with their families. Like, they hate their family. They're like, fuck you, mom, or I hate you, dad. I don't think I've ever been able to say that to my family, but with you, I've been my ugliest. And you've been your ugliest, and I still love you.
Awesome.
And we're still in this band.
Awesome. That's a good thing.
Yeah. This is my first question. You, when I came to the scene, there was very little happening. Certain people were heroes, right? And you are one of them. And a lot of your contemporaries, you watched a lot of your contemporaries, people who probably inspired you, give up on the scene and start making Bollywood music, or give up on India and move away, right? Were there ever moments when you felt like, fuck, should I just give up and should I move to America or Berlin or London or a place where, you know, I didn't have to create the scene that I'm also simultaneously catering towards? Because you often say, like, India's where it's at, man, this is where I want to be. And if you have had those moments, tell me about them and tell me what made you stay. And, like, tell me the juicy bits, like the dirt, like how messed up you were and how happy you became when things started to shift.
The thing is, I never really gave up on anything. I never looked at things that way in the first place.
Oh.
It was never about like, and everyone, I kind of knew at a certain point, maybe it was art school upbringing, that yeah, everyone's entitled to their own version of what art should be or music should be or life should be, and everyone made their choices. Yeah, for me this was the choice. The choice was to just make crazy music.
Yeah, but like, didn't you want to buy the gear that you wanted to buy? Didn't you want to earn money? Didn't you want people to not ask us to keep it, I mean you, to keep it down? Well, they're
no, the thing is you know that good music can make money, and that's probably the only belief that I had, and that kept me going. It's very simple.
Kept you going, like,
but it was
10
difficult.
years.
It was difficult, like hearing all that shit all the time from people. No, you have to do this or sing in Hindi or make Bollywood music to survive. I think you can survive doing whatever you want, and especially in a city like Bombay, you know what I mean? So I kind of, in one way I believe in the city, and I believe in that side of India that can take things forward, and I guess that's why I stayed here or picked this over any other city. And then most importantly, you're here with friends that believe the same things.
So can you cite any people, you know, of your, who go back as far as you go back, of your community and your peers, who stuck it out the way that you have and didn't do things that they did not believe in? Because I don't know anybody but you. Can you cite someone?
I don't know, I think this is a strange question because it's like about good and evil.
I mean, I'm not classifying.
And
I'm not
like other
classifying.
people.
I'm not saying that you're a good guy. I'm the first person to say that when you're
Yeah,
not.
I just chose this. I just chose to make a music that would make a difference, and I just chose to make real music. I just chose to make music that represented Bombay, like differently, as what's expected. Yeah, and just be that as an artist.
So do you feel like you're currently experiencing the fruits of your labor? Do you feel somewhat responsible for the scene, the way that it's grown, the way that it's flourished?
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's
years?
fun. I mean, when we travel, like, you know, you're staying in 5-star hotels, you're doing all this fucking fancy shit. It's
Is
cool.
it exactly
I mean,
as
that's
you
one
wanted?
side of it being like, oh shit, you've upgraded or you've grown or but that's never been like an agenda anyways. You just always have to make making good music. And in one way I'm really like unsatisfied and unhappy. And then, yeah, the other side's amazing.
if there were aspects about the scene that you would rectify, even though of course, you know, it is so much more than it was last year, than it was the year before that, and it's exponentially growing. Like for me, I often hear people say things like, India's going through what America went through in the 60s, and you know, all that kind of yarn, and you can't expect for people to understand if they've never had access or if they've never witnessed this sort of thing before. That's why this is wrong and that's why that is wrong. And I often say I don't believe that, because I feel like through things like the internet and books and television, we have the opportunity to grow intelligently rather than just grow, like rather than being in the 60s where today, but we're experiencing a renaissance today with what we know today as the human race on the planet today. So are there things in the scene that are happening but you wish that certain aspects were rectified or done slightly differently right now?
Not really.
No?
Everything is just perfect.
Awesome.
It's been like just amazingly perfect.
I'm so glad for you. I am.
It's good. Like, I'm happy doing what I do. So that is a very real thing to fucking dress up, and that's my point. Like,
yeah,
I think it's
you know,
just,
I see a lot of Indian bands not give a damn, and I'm so annoyed with them. I'm like, why don't you try a little bit? Like, because even though that's not the most important thing, don't walk on stage like looking like you haven't showered or that you don't really like care to have people watch you. Because unless you value yourself, no one from the audience's perspective is going to value what you're doing. You have to walk on there like ready to dance, like this is who I am, you know? That doesn't mean it has to be fancy, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if you're Kurt Cobain, it's okay if you don't shower.
No, even that can be a statement, but you can tell when somebody doesn't even think about it, you know?
I think it's just being real, right? If you're comfortable wearing whatever the fuck you're wearing, then it's cool.
Yeah. And that's the thing about human beings, is we have been observing each other since we came out of our mother's womb. So we know the second someone's faking it, the second someone's putting it on. And I mean, for me, that's like the most unattractive thing, when someone's trying to be something.
So you're never putting it on?
No.
Awesome.
No.
What about like...
That's actually the one thing I think I'm good at.
What
I
about...
don't think I'm good at anything else.
What about technology? Are you good with technology?
No.
Are you good with... That's the second thing then.
I suck.
I got you. Then, do you make an effort like to work technology out, or you like...
Not really. You know that.
So you like to work with ideas, you like to work with a beat, or...
Yeah, it's been like, I think when Shaa'ir Func began, and still even now, it's been a struggle within me, because I really don't enjoy like being in front of a computer. I'm not somebody who gets like excited about gadgets and things. Like, I love that you bought me 6 Murakami books and I've already read 2 of them. I love paper and ink pens, and I love pressing flowers between pages that I've written. And that's who I am, and I think initially I tried to be something else. Like, I tried to be a gadget girl, and I tried to be somebody who really enjoyed softwares and stuff. I think I know enough because I've written so much music and I've collaborated with so many people that I know my way around the studio. I know how to use Ableton, I know how to use Acid, I know how to do things if I have to do them, but I prefer not to. And that was something I was really shy of saying before, and now I'm not so shy of it.
Yeah.
Now that I co-produced my own solo record, and I often, when you and I sit together on things, we audition sounds together, and you know, I'll sing an idea in my head and I know how to write on a staff or whatever, but at the end of the day, my relationship with machines is not a very passionate one.
Awesome, that's
Yeah.
good. Keep it real, babe. Keep it real. Keep it organic. Keep it organic.
Yeah.
Alright, so listen, then if someone gave you like $1 billion to fuck off and live on an island, would you give up like Shaa'ir Func?
No.
Fuck, I would. That's stupid.
I would
$1 billion.
probably buy us an airplane, and I would probably build like the most amazing festivals in every country.
Awesome.
And then I would probably take like $1 million at the end of it and build a house somewhere next to a beach with a garden. But no, I probably wouldn't give up. You would give up on Shaa'ir Func. I'm not talking to you anymore.
I was
Fuck
just
yeah.
checking. I had to get some fucking reaction out of it.